evening, but they will not be daunted. They will not be cowed. And they're getting half a day off tomorrow in return. Would you sleep out rough for half a day off work? I think you should. I think you should.
The Money Show with Bruce Whitfield.
Let's talk to Aubrey Miller. Now, two reasons to speak to Aubrey Miller. Aubrey is the CEO of Sealedbid.co.za. The first reason is because there's a fabulous piece of property in an increasingly congested Hermanus up for sale for development. But also, Aubrey, I'm interested in the process you're following to get bids for this property. But just tell me about this piece of land that is for sale. Is it the last piece of sort of coastal seafront land that is up for grabs?
Yeah, Bruce, first of all, thanks so much for having me on your show. The piece of land is absolutely unique. If anybody is familiar with the Hermanus area, they will know that it's not only famous for its as a tourist destination, but also for its natural beauty. And this piece of land is a 46-hectare site, which is right on the coast. It's basically the whole of that Skilphook Point.
That sounds absolutely... I was there last weekend and I went through Hermanus. I found that it's got very, very big and very spread out, Aubrey. So that seafront property is very, very scarce. And so that's what's up for grabs. What's important about this piece of property is that it's already got approval for development. What kind of development can go on there?
Well, at the moment, the site is approved for 244 plots. 51 of them are on the water. So that... The development of that is already approved, and basically whoever purchases the site just needs to notify council and it's ready to go.
Okay, that's the one part of it. The part that intrigues me is the way in which you are having this sold. Now, are you having an auction on site overlooking the whales frolicking in the bay, or are you doing things slightly different?
Well, that sounds fantastic, but no, it's not that at all.
Because if there are no whales, it's not going to work. So, and they often don't.
No, the whales are there. The whales are there. It's just that we're not going to be there doing an auction. I think first of all, it's worthwhile pointing out that we are not an auction house at all. We basically started this business because we believe that in the modern age of the internet and of cell phones, that the old way of selling property is just not good enough any longer. There has to be a way where you can extract the best value and still keep things fair, moral, private, secure and confidential. So a sealed bid is a unique process in South Africa that we offer. And what we do is that we take the property, all the information gets uploaded online, and we conduct a sealed bid. Now, what that does is that it protects the seller's property by keeping it private and confidential. The bids that are received are encrypted, so nobody has sight of those bids. And as far as the buyers are concerned, it keeps it very convenient for them, and it also keeps their information private and confidential. So it is a unique offering to South Africa.
But it also forces, does it not, you to put your very best offer on the table.
Absolutely.
And there's no quibbling afterwards about, did I mean to put my hand up? Was I scratching my nose? Was I asking for a cup of tea or whatever the case was?
Absolutely, Bruce. You've hit the nail on the head.
There's a commitment.
There is a commitment, absolutely. Now, the thing is that, as you said, I mean, the whole process, because the bids are absolutely private and confidential, I don't know what you are bidding and you don't know what I'm bidding. And every property is worth what that particular buyer is prepared to pay. So for me, a property might be worth 100 million, and to you it might be worth 150 million. You're not going to be influenced by my bid because you don't have sight of my bid. But also, further to that, you aren't influenced by vendor bidders or ghost bidders for that matter, which is quite a sensitive topic at the moment in South Africa.
Absolutely right. So this is a tried and tested mechanism in South Africa. Have you done it on other properties?
Absolutely. We've been operating now for around about 2 years. It's a fantastic product. It is tried and tested. We've done a number of sales all over South Africa, and it's worked fantastically, not only for the seller, but also for the buyers. Like I said, it's made the whole process so simple and convenient for the buyer that our reach has been fantastic.
Could it work in the sale of a residential property, for example? Say you decided that you got the world's nicest house, and you're going to put it on the market on a Sunday afternoon, as property show days tend to be. And at the end of the day, everybody comes in through the door. You give them a piece of paper and you say, by 5 o'clock this afternoon, if you would like to buy this house, you submit a sealed bid. And the bids come in by 5 o'clock that afternoon. They could be from 1 to 5 million rand. You might want to get 5 million. And you then choose which bid you accept. Because I can't imagine that you're obliged necessarily to accept, 1, any of the bids, or 2, even the highest bid.
You know, Bruce, I wish that I could come up with a more complicated answer, but the truth is that you've got it spot on.
You know, I'm feeling so clever. I'm feeling so clever. Thanks, Aubrey. I'll vote you every time.
The bottom line is that this platform works not only for commercial property, land, industrial property, but also for residential property. What we've actually been doing so far is that the bidding process takes, we run it over a little bit longer than a few hours. So we might have a 4-week bid process where we allow people to go on. And we've made one extra feature which makes it so much more convenient for the bidder, and that is that we've allowed them to be able to log on with a unique username and password, and they can amend their bid at any time during the process.
Ah, that's very sneaky. So I put in a bid on Monday morning. Then by Friday, the house is even more beautiful in my mind, or the property is even more beautiful in my mind. I really don't want to run the risk of losing it. The bids close at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. At 5 to 5, I can up the bid. Very sneaky.
Exactly.
Very sneaky. Very sneaky. Aubrey, thank you very much. Chief Executive of Sealedbid.co.za. Fascinating way to buy property. So, yeah, nice hook to talk about Hermanus property and this fabulous piece of 46 hectares of seafront property which is available in Hermanus. But the way in which they're selling it has kind of gripped my imagination. You might want to consider that as a way of selling your next property, or maybe putting an offer in on a property in future.